Cash in a flash.
So you need cash now, you don't know how. No time to waste, need a loan at a pace. Get cash in a flash.
Wait no more. Axel Finance has the Express loan just for you. The first ever Express loan known by thousands for over 10 years. So walk in today and within 24 hours, you can get your Express loan approved and your cash in a flash.
Cash in a flash. So when you need cash now, Axel Express loans is how you can get your cash in a flash.
Terms and conditions apply.
Visit any Axel Finance branch for your Express loan today.
Get cash in a flash.
Affordable quality products delivered to you via superb service. We are Superb Distributors, wholesalers and authorized agents for trusted products you know and love, like Rika Juices, Pure Heaven products, Bibbin diapers, New Bright laundry detergent, Allegra pasta, and more.
Contact Superb Distributors at 435-2948 for superb quality and service.
Ever wonder how water goes from its natural source to coming out of our tap crystal clear and safe to drink? Well, let me introduce you to NAWASA! Grenada's National Water and Sewage Authority. They are the water wizards behind it all. Yay! A whopping 95% of all water comes from surface sources. This water might look muddy now, but wait until you see the transformation. First, they add a non-toxic chemical to the water. This brings particles together, forming clumps in a process called coagulation. Next, a gentle stir helps the particles come together. This is called flocculation. Gravity does its thing and the clumps settle to the bottom. This is sedimentation. Then the water is passed through a bed of sand. This filtration removes up to 95% of bacteria. See the difference? Now our water is clear and nearly bacteria free. Lastly, chlorine is added for disinfection, killing any remaining bacteria and making the water safe to drink. And that, my friends, is how NAWASA brings pure, refreshing water from their surface sources to our pipes, our wash pan, our buckets, whatever you think about.
This advertisement is the first in a series showcasing NAWASA's operations. Stay tuned for more in-depth insights into our services and initiatives.
And hello. We want to say hello to everyone tuned in. This is another Mikey Live program. My name is Mikey Hutchinson, and I hope that you're having a good day. Sometimes we don't, but I hope today was a good day for you. Maybe less stress at the office, or probably you got some news that you wanted to hear from a family, a friend, a loved one. You know what I'm talking about. So anyway, blessings to you. My name is Mikey Hutchinson. Of course, this is what we call news discussed, not told. All right. We have a few things to tell you about today. The Prime Minister hosted a press conference speaking about some recent developments within his government. We will talk about that, as well as NAWASA. There's a problem with one of his lines. We'll tell you who's affected and why, and of course we'll talk about restoration as well. We have a problem, dengue, and we'll talk about it. I'm not keeping you too long on the program. Also, the gun amnesty has concluded, and we are hearing now from the Attorney General. We'll talk to you about that in a moment as well. So stay tuned. We have a few things to talk to you about. All right, don't forget, Headlines is brought to you through the kind compliments of Courts Grenada Limited, Digicel NAWASA, Real Value, IGA Supermarket, Superb Distributors, Infinite Contractors. Also, we've got the Axel Finance with us. All right, so big up to all of the sponsors, mate. All right, we're coming back. And don't forget, someone sharing tonight's program will receive some free credits, compliments, Digicel. That lucky person might just be you. All right, so do the business. Yeah, do the right thing. We're coming back. Diamond Intercontinental Jewelry Store now has amazing deals, special discounted prices on wedding sets, watches, and selected jewelry. We sell top brand jewelry and watches like Citizen, Guess, and Klein, and G-Shock, all at the best prices in Grenada. We also buy scrap gold and offer the best deals and customer service on the island. Opening hours Mondays to Saturdays, 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Diamond Intercontinental Jewelry Store, located at the Esplanade Mall, St. George's, Grenada. Visit our brand new remodeled store or call us on telephone number 414-3114, 232-1234 or WhatsApp 533-1581. Sale is on for a limited time only.
It's the Quartz Appliance Event. Cook it, fry it, bake it on a new Mabe stove for only $1,799. Stack it, pack it, and chill it with a Frigidaire 4-mount fridge for $2,749. Laundry piling up? Wash it, spin it, dry it in a Frigidaire 17-kilogram washing machine top, only $2,399. Get it now and pay later. It's the Quartz Appliance Event, only at Quartz, bringing value home. Offers end July 24th, 2024. Conditions apply.
Today we go mash it up. 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 They can't stop the unstoppable. They can't move the unmovable. They can't move the unmovable. They can't break the unbreakable. They can't break the unbreakable.
When I'm getting ready for the road, I ensure to turn off the tap when I'm brushing my teeth and soaping up in the shower. These simple steps save gallons of water. A true masquerader saves water. And just so, already.
Save water. Save water.
And of course, it is important to save water. You understand? Now, some people may feel like, we have water. Yeah, I'm a water guy, but from time to time, I have to remind myself that we need to save a little bit. All right? Okay. Now let's get straight into what's making the news for today. Sometimes we just forget about dengue, but it is there, and it is posing a serious challenge for health authorities and, of course, for individuals as well. That we don't know what's going on, we just find we're sick, and we just lie down in bed, never check the doctor until it gets worse. And so we're hearing that the Ministry of Health, they are alerting the public of a steady increase in reported dengue fever cases in the country. Now, Acting Chief Medical Officer, CMO Dr. Sean Charles, explained that based on epidemiological data analysis, there has been a steady increase in the dengue cases in the past 2 weeks. There has been a significant spike in reported cases in St. Andrew and St. George. 15 cases were reported in week number 29 and 23 cases in week number 30. None of which was severe enough to require hospitalization. Public health experts from the Vector Control Department, they are encouraging the public to remove all non-essential water holding containers and debris in and around their homes, while efforts are intensified in terms of public education and vector control measures. Citizens must also play an active role in curbing the problem. Now, the rainy season has provided ideal breeding conditions for mosquitoes, and experts attribute the increase in the mosquito population to the substantial debris left behind by Hurricane Beryl. Now, items such as drums, bottles, buckets, fridges, tubs, old tires, cans, and galvanized metal sheets are primary breeding sites for the vector. The public, you are urged to protect yourselves from being bitten by mosquitoes by taking the necessary preventative measures. Now, this means the should eliminate mosquito breeding sites in and around their homes. Additionally, you should use approved insect repellent, mosquito nets, and long sleeve clothing. In the interest of public health, the Ministry of Health reminds anyone experiencing dengue fever-like symptoms such as joint pains, fever, headache, and intense abdominal pain to seek medical attention promptly and as well to get tested. You might be exhibiting symptoms of dengue. All right, so please be guided accordingly. People get sick, seriously sick, where dengue is concerned. So you do not want to be one of those persons who take it lightly, and then you find out that you probably when you get more sick, you find out that it's a case of dengue that you're dealing with, you know. So please, again, be guided accordingly, and as the ministry is saying, do your part in curbing this problem. All right, and it's doable. It's doable. A lot of the things the ministry says in terms of what causes mosquitoes to be in and around your property, if you take those measures into effect, if you remove all the still waters and all of that stuff, you realize that the mosquito population will decrease. So we have an important notice here from Nawasa and consumers in the entire town of St. George. You are experiencing an interruption in your water supply, and they say that this is due to a damaged water main. A timeline for restoration cannot be provided at this time. Consumers, you are therefore encouraged to utilize your stored supply. Nawasa say that they'd like to apologize for any inconvenience caused. I would like to thank you for your patience and understanding as they work towards delivery of a safe, adequate, and reliable water supply. Big news today. Senator Jonathan Lacrette sacked, and the Prime Minister hosted a press conference about that today. Well, interestingly, the Prime Minister opted not to provide any details surrounding his decision, but to say that he lost the trust and confidence in his colleague.
That yesterday I advised the Governor General, Her Excellency Dame Cecilia Grenade, to recall the appointment of Minister Jonathan Lacrette as the Minister for Youth and Sport, and also to recall his appointment as Senator as a result thereof, since his senatorial appointment was in effect to allow him to carry out his duties as a minister. I have since communicated that decision to Mr. Lacrette yesterday morning and thanked him for his service to the government and people of Grenada as a Minister of Government and as a Senator. He has expressed his appreciation for being given the opportunity to serve in the Cabinet of Ministers. The reason for doing so is that as Prime Minister, sitting in the Cabinet, I formed the view that I had personally lost trust and confidence in Minister Lacrette in his capacity as a minister, and in those circumstances I thought it was appropriate for me to inform him of that fact and to inform his fellow Cabinet colleagues. I want to emphasize that there is no personal issues between myself and Mr. Lacrette. I am quite fond of him. There are no personal issues between him and the ministers of government. They have an excellent relationship. This is purely an issue of my prime ministerial discretion in relation to Minister Lacrette as a minister in cabinet, and in circumstances where as Prime Minister I no longer hold confidence in any particular minister, the only appropriate thing to do would be to allow the minister to be relieved of the burden of ministerial duties, and I have so done. I appreciate that the journalists who are here and other members of the media may have questions as to why I formed that view. I will indicate that I will not get into the nitty-gritty of the details because they are not appropriate given the fact that it's a trust and confidence issue, but I'm happy to entertain any questions that you may have nonetheless in light of that. For completion, I should indicate that Senator the Honorable David Andrew will act as Minister for Youth and Sport in the meantime until I make a further decision as to the substantive post of Minister for Youth and Sports or any further cabinet realignment that may arise thereof. Mr. Lacrette still remains a member of the National Democratic Congress. I look forward to continuing to work with him in that capacity as a member of the National Democratic Congress. He has also acted as the caretaker for St. George Northwest, and unless he says otherwise, I expect that he will continue to do so.
All right, and so there have been a lot of talks about this, a lot. Well, of course, if no information is provided, then speculation prevails. And so there's been a lot of speculation surrounding this. You know, this morning on the press conference, when the Prime Minister said that he was not going to entertain, kind of like answering in details his reasoning for so doing. You know, and the journalists insisted on asking the questions. Like, hey, these journalists and them can hear. You know, and the Prime Minister can say what he wants. You know, and that's his right. And independently, the journalists can respond accordingly in any way, and that's their right as well. You know, so it was still the journalists' right to ask the questions. You know, so that is what was done. Yeah, and it's a very interesting angle to things. You know, and as I was explaining to somebody, let's put this into context. Maybe, I'm not saying that this is fact, but I'm presenting a scenario. Right? Maybe the Prime Minister is one of the more likable Prime Ministers, and his approval rate, I mean, he's a new politician, and so might be higher than many. Yes, this man elevated from a common man in the street right up to the top in a flash. And that says a lot, and you have to give him credit for that. You know, I don't know many people who have done that. And so you would find that maybe so that his likability and everything is way more than others. So we are a little more tolerant to things that he may say. You have reasons to not. You don't have reasons to not believe what he says because you do not have a history of him telling lies. You understand? So you tend to, cut him some slack. But you have to understand as well that any courtesies that is extended to anyone has to be, and not from the perspective of a journalist, if they're going to be fair, any courtesies that is extended to one has to be extended to the next. So, what happens when another prime minister, next say 5, 10, 15, 20 years, go down the road, very corrupt, all right? And that prime minister comes, he does something, and he comes on the press conference and he says, well, I have done this, but I am not going to explain in details why. You see where I'm going with this, right? Because a precedent has been set. So, whereas your likability or his likability is higher than others, you just have to understand that precedence has been set. In those communications with the journalist and the member of cabinet, or ministers, or the prime minister, and so. And if the journalist is to be fair, then that has to be maintained throughout. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah? So you have to understand it from the journalist's point of view as well. Yeah? The prime minister can say, well, I don't want to answer. But saying that I would not answer or I do not want to give details is not a reason for a journalist to not still ask a question or to not probe, as to find out why. Yeah. So I just thought I should kind of like explain that to you to some degree. And again, so what I thought was funny too, right? Okay, I'm here and I'm telling you this. But I cannot give you details I would not give you details on why. But ask me questions. What would be the questions? What exactly what would the questions be? You understand? So you still have to understand why the journalist will continue to ask questions along that line. And I just find that of late, people coming down of late, a lot on journalists and things like that, and I just think it's not, anyway. People have a job to do too. You understand? You understand? And asking hard questions doesn't mean that they are against parliamentarians, politicians, or individuals who those questions are being shot at. All right? It's nothing to do with that. That's just the journalist's job to ask the questions. Whether you listen to CNN, you listen to Fox, you listen to you see the same thing. Yeah, you see the same thing, the same approach to questions, and so, all right. So, I just thought that I should explain that to you a little bit. Just yeah, for what it's worth. Now, the other side of this coin is Mr. Lacrette himself. Well, we have not heard much from him. Not much has been said since, well, at least not publicly. Let's say not publicly. All right. So some are wondering whether or not a response will come from the former senator. Nobody knows what's going to happen from his side. Prime Minister has said what he had to say, and there's a silence from Lacrette himself. I know he was spearheading an event that was to take place tomorrow night in Westerhall Church. Yeah, in Westerhall Church, but that event has since been cancelled. All right. I got a call earlier today from there was an event we down in the Trade Center with some youngsters, and the individual was saying how they were so good at what they did in a little craft stuff, and so I was really hoping to get the information, the pictures and videos, but I checked before coming on and I did not see it, but I'll see if I can get that for you guys tomorrow, God's willing, also, because I would like to share it with you, all right? Yes. The gun amnesty. That's the next big thing. All you. So the gun amnesty has expired. So the gun amnesty was about, allowing persons to surrender their illegal firearms without being prosecuted. You understand? So that went on for 90 days. Everybody with an illegal firearm had the opportunity to turn it in. After that 90 days, which was at the end of this month, it ended. And the information was provided today by the Attorney General on how many firearms or weapons, as they say, were seized as a result of the gun amnesty. 6 weapons. According to her, 6 weapons and 339 rounds of ammunition were surrendered as a direct result of the gun amnesty. And in separate operations by the police, 34 firearms and 914 rounds of ammunition were seized.
So during that period, the Royal Grenada Police Force recovered 34 weapons, 34 firearms, and 914 rounds of ammunition. And that's, while aided by the conditions of the amnesty, this 34 weapons and 914 ammunitions were not recovered under the amnesty per se, but the conditions that prevailed helped in the recovery of these weapons and ammunition. And directly under the amnesty, there were 6 weapons recovered, and 339 rounds of ammunition. So I want to make the point that we considered that if we recovered one weapon, we would have been successful in the amnesty. We have recovered 6. Some jurisdictions right here in the region who attempted amnesties were not as successful as us. For example, the amnesty in Barbados recovered 1. So with that, on behalf of the government of Grenada, we say thank you to all of the people who participated in the amnesty and who worked in any way to ensure that in total, we had 40 weapons taken off the streets, 40, and over 1,200 rounds of ammunition. So we consider that we were successful in this effort. Now that the amnesty is over, the Firearms Amendment Act number 2 comes into operation. In fact, came into operation on the 30th. That's Act number 12 of 2024, duly gazetted and now fully in force. And that amendment to the legislation has significantly increased the penalties imposed for persons found guilty of offenses under the Act. Let me just make it clear that the Act, the new offenses will apply only to persons brought before the law after the coming into force of it. So matters that are still in the court system, they will be subject to the Act before amendment. So any new charges filed and so, those persons will be subjected to the new penalties. And I would just like to highlight a few. All of the sections in the Firearms Act that carried penalties or that created offenses were amended. And so about 29 in total. I would just like, though, to highlight about 3.
Yes, and she mentioned some offenses that were crazy. And when I say crazy, in terms of the penalties, listen. When I heard these penalties, I thought, whoa, you understand? You can kill someone and receive a lesser sentence than being found with a firearm, an illegal firearm. That is how serious this is right now. I'll say again, you can kill someone and receive less prison time than if you're found with an illegal firearm.
The first one is the amendment to Section 20 of the Act, which creates the offense of possession of firearms and ammunition. And the penalty under the Act, under that section before the amendment, was on summary conviction, that is before the magistrate's court, a fine of $4,000 minimum and up to $20,000 or imprisonment for 2 to 5 years. Now, on summary conviction, there's no fine which the magistrate can impose. Instead, there's a minimum of 10 years imprisonment or up to 20 years. That's on summary conviction. On indictment, that is where you are tried in the High Court. Previously, there was a fine of $20,000 up to $60,000 and imprisonment for 5 to 20 years. The new penalty will be imprisonment, minimum 20 years, up to 40 years. The other section I would like to highlight is discharge of firearms and ammunition. We know we have a problem, apart from the injuries and deaths that we have seen relating to guns. We have a situation where young men in general think it cool or fun or entertaining to fire off some shots. We've had that problem in some parts of the country. And that's an offense under Section 23 of the Act. Previously, it was a summary offense only, carrying a penalty in the form of a fine of $1,000 and imprisonment for 3 months. That has been adjusted now. On summary conviction, the fine would be $50,000 minimum and up to $100,000, or imprisonment to up to 5 years, 5 to 10 years, minimum 5, maximum 10. And on indictment, a fine of $100,000 to $250,000 and imprisonment to 10 to 20 years. So, and these 2 sections that I have highlighted is just a snapshot of the severity with which we treat offenses under the Firearms Act.
Yeah, boy. No, that's serious, boy. Yeah, well, that's serious, bad boy. So you understand. You understand? You understand how serious this is being regarded or considered. So straighten up and fly right. No more illegal firearms. No more firearms in settling disputes because you're found with a firearm, an illegal firearm. 10 years, 10 years, just like that, And 10 years is a minimum. The only discretion that the magistrate can exercise is to go upward, not even downward, upward. From 10 years. No, sir. This is serious business, if you ask me. You understand? And so I asked the question, what happens if now you realize how serious the business is and you want to hand in the firearm? Hand it in. You understand? Hand it in, and they would deal with it accordingly. But to be found with it as of 2 days ago, yesterday, you're in problems. You're in problems. You understand? We had to go back to belt and punch. You understand? Yeah. Family, let me take a quick break and I'll be back with you shortly. When I come back, we've got the national report for you. We'll also have the weather. Stay right there.
Cash in a flash.
So you need cash now, you don't know how. No time to waste, need a loan at a pace. Get cash in a flash.
Wait no more! Axel Finance has the Express loan just for you. The first ever Express loan known by thousands for over 10 years. So walk in today and within 24 hours, you can get your Express loan approved and your cash in a flash.
Cash in a flash. So when you need cash now, Axel Express loans is how you can get your cash in a flash.
Terms and conditions apply.
Visit any Axel Finance branch for your Express loan today.
Get cash in a flash.
Affordable quality products delivered to you via superb service. We are superb distributors, wholesalers and authorized agents for trusted products you know and love. Like Rika Juices, Pure Heaven products, Bibbin diapers, New Bright laundry detergent, Allegra pasta and more.
Contact Superb Distributors at 435-2948 for superb quality and service.
Infinite Contractors and Machinery. We are your one-stop engineering and consultancy company with experience locally, regionally, and internationally. We provide excavation services and engineering consultancy, construction of residential and commercial structures, civil works such as drainage, retaining walls, roads, concrete patio services, paving services, concrete driveway services, remodeling and renovation, painting services, styling services, and so much more. Ask about our rental services of excavators, heavy equipment, metal formwork, and steel prop. Contact us today via telephone number 537-9675 or email infinitecontractors19@gmail.com.
Diamond Intercontinental Jewelry Store now has amazing deals, special discounted prices on wedding sets, watches, and selected jewelry. We sell top brand jewelry and watches like Citizen, Guess, and Klein, and G-Shock, all at the best prices in Grenada. We also buy scrap gold and offer the best deals and customer service on the island. Opening hours Mondays to Saturdays, 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Diamond Intercontinental Jewelry Store, located at the Esplanade Mall, St. George's, Grenada. Visit our brand new remodeled store or call us on telephone number 414-3114, 232-1234 or WhatsApp 533-1581. Sale is on for a limited time only.
time and have it delivered to you right here in Grenada at yogo.gd.
It's the Quartz Appliance Event. Cook it, fry it, bake it on a new Mabe stove for only $1,799. Stack it, pack it, and chill it with a Frigidaire 4-mount fridge for $2,749. Laundry piling up? Wash it, spin it, dry it in a Frigidaire 17-kilogram washing machine top, only $2,399. Get it now and pay later. It's the Quartz Appliance Event, only at Quartz, bringing value home. Offers end July 24th, 2024. Conditions apply.
Today we go mash it up. 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 They can't stop you, unstoppable. They can't move you, unmovable. They can't move you, unmovable. They can't break the unbreakable. They can't break the unbreakable.
When I'm getting ready for the road, I ensure to turn off the tap when I'm brushing my teeth and soaping up in the shower. These simple steps save gallons of water. A true masquerader saves water. And just so already.
Save water. Save water.
This is the GIS News for Thursday, August 1st, 2024. I am Chrisanne Mitchell. We have extended our newscast to give you more information on the work of the government. In the headlines, payments for school supplies and uniform assistance to begin next week.
The Grenada Cultural Foundation, in collaboration with the St. Andrews Development Organization, SEDU, the Grenada National Preparations Committee, GNRC, and Timber will commemorate Emancipation Day 2024 under the theme, In the Spirit of Emancipation, we embrace our African identity through our cultural expressions. Are you ready to celebrate Grenada's rich cultural heritage and history of resilience? Then look out for the televised panel discussion on July 28th. Proudly don your African wear on August 1st and join the Liberation and Ancestral Freedom March from the Old Public Library to the Market Square starting at 11 a.m. Then we complete the day at the Spice Baskets and witness the reenactments of the proclamation together with our cultural presentations. And finally, look out for the continuation of the activities in Grenville on August 5th with a parade from Pearls to Grenville at 3 p.m. and the Flambeau Walk from Canal Road at 6:30 p.m. Mark your calendars and get ready to join us in celebrating Grenada's emancipation with pride and joy. See you there.
Welcome back. Grenada's Minister for Education, Senator the Honorable David Andrews, says the first batch of payments for school supplies and uniform assistance for the new school year will be made by the ministry next week. The process will take the same format as in previous years, cashless transfers digitally through QR codes. During a press conference on Thursday, Minister Andrews said the ministry has been processing and uploading applications to the program to ensure a seamless execution. Applications must be made through the individual schools.
The medium through which persons get onto those programs is through the schools. So parents are encouraged, if you think your child or your ward is in need of that kind of support, we encourage you to go to the schools, go to the principal and say, please enlist my child. And every principal ought to enlist your child because this is a provision of the government of Grenada. It's a provision that the Ministry of Education is making available to all of our nation's students. Now, teachers can make recommendations. Our school attendance officers can make recommendations. Our counselors may make recommendations. But at the end of the day, parents can come forward and go to the schools to get their children enlisted. So we have received quite a lot of applications, and they are currently being uploaded and verified at the Ministry of Education.
Government is partnering with WePay to use its platform to implement the transfers to beneficiaries. WePay is an online payment service provider that offers fraud and risk protection. Vendors will also be trained to ensure efficient use of the machines.
We have engaged them directly. Previously, we had some agents that we were working through, and that proved to be a bit challenging for us. Now, though, we are working directly with the agents, and they are due to come into Grenada sometime next week to do training with the vendors. So a number of local vendors have been enlisted, and they'd be trained. The special adaptable machines that are made to, they're machine readable codes where all the information is put in. And so we're using the same methodology. The WePay agent, the WePay directors are going to be in Grenada next week to train vendors in the use of the machine and to have them installed. And so we anticipate that sometime before the end of next week, we could have the first set of payments made to beneficiaries.
Attorney General Senator the Honorable Claudette Joseph says the amended Firearms Act No. 2 is now in full force, and anyone found in the possession of illegal firearms will be prosecuted under the law. 40 weapons were recovered along with more than 1,000 rounds of ammunition by the Royal Grenada Police Force for the first half of 2024. 6 of the recovered firearms and 314 rounds of ammunition are directly related to the amnesty.
The Royal Grenada Police Force recovered 34 weapons, 34 firearms, and 914 rounds of ammunition. And that's, while aided by the conditions of the amnesty, this 34 weapons and 914 ammunitions were not recovered under the amnesty per se, but the conditions that prevailed helped in the recovery of these weapons and ammunition. And directly under the amnesty, there were 6 weapons recovered, and 339 rounds of ammunition. So I want to make the point that we considered that if we recovered one weapon, we would have been successful in the amnesty. We have recovered 6. Some jurisdictions right here in the region who attempted amnesties were not as successful as us.
Now that the 90-day period of the amnesty has expired, Senator Joseph elaborated on what will happen for the persons who have been found with illegal firearms.
The first one is the amendment to Section 20 of the Act, which creates the offense of possession of firearms and ammunition. And the penalty under the Act, under that section before the amendment, was on summary conviction, that is before the magistrate's court, a fine of $4,000 minimum and up to $20,000 or imprisonment for 2 to 5 years. Now, on summary conviction, there's no fine which the magistrate can impose. Instead, there's a minimum of 10 years imprisonment or up to 20 years. That's on summary conviction. On indictment, that is where you are tried in the High Court. Previously, there was a fine of $20,000 up to $60,000 and imprisonment for 5 to 20 years. The new penalty will be imprisonment, minimum 20 years, up to 40 years.
Senator Joseph also highlighted the area of the amended Firearms Act that deals with the discharge of firearms.
We have a situation where young men in general think it cool or fun or entertaining to fire off some shots. We've had that problem in some parts of the country. And that's an offense under Section 23 of the Act. Previously, it was a summary offense only, carrying a penalty in the form of a fine of $1,000 and imprisonment for 3 months. That has been adjusted now. On summary conviction, the fine would be $50,000 minimum and up to $100,000, or imprisonment to up to 5 years, 5 to 10 years, minimum 5, maximum 10. And on indictment, a fine of $100,000 to $250,000, and imprisonment to 10 to 20 years.
CARICOM Chairman, Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell, says the regional body will lend humanitarian aid to Haiti and Cuba. During a press conference on Thursday, Prime Minister Mitchell said sustained engagement and support is needed to improve Haiti's humanitarian situation.
As chairman of CARICOM, I will be coordinating with our colleagues to see how we can assist on the humanitarian front as well. President Ali of Guyana has already put up his hand to indicate that Guyana will be prepared to send in-kind food, supplies, whatever is required to assist our brothers and sisters in Haiti. We will be coordinating and working on the logistics to do so, and I'm quite confident that other members, Trinidad, Suriname, Jamaica and the Bahamas are already contributing towards the security forces, Bahamas, Belize, will all be coming to continue supporting our brothers and sisters in Haiti in very much the same way they've come to our rescue and our support in Grenada, Carriacou, Petit Martinique, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines. I will similarly move quickly to Cuba. Cuba is also facing an acute humanitarian challenge posed by the continued unlawful, inhumane embargo against the government and people of Cuba. CARICOM reiterated its commitment for the embargo to be lifted. It reiterated its commitment for Cuba to be removed from the U.S. State Department's list of state sponsors of terrorism. CARICOM has also committed to collaborating to seek to get assistance and aid to our brothers and sisters in Cuba. And I want to always emphasize that despite the little that it has, Cuba always reaches out to our brothers and sisters in need, and they are even doing so in Haiti. So on the regional front, those were two of the critical matters that have occurred.
Prime Minister Mitchell's stint as chair runs for 6 months, after which he will be succeeded by Barbadian counterpart, Honorable Mia Motley.
During the last 6 months, we've spent a considerable amount of time and effort working on supporting our brothers and sisters in the Republic of Haiti to assist them with bringing some measure of calm to the political crisis that the most populated island in the Caribbean has faced in the last 2 years. I'm happy to report that small, marginal, incremental, successful steps are happening. The Haitian people now have a presidential transitional council in place. That council's job is to assist the country with the security situation and to put measures in place to facilitate the hosting of elections by the end of 2025, and hopefully with the government being installed by the first quarter of 2026.
He said he is satisfied with the successful hosting of the 3-day CARICOM meeting in Grenada, despite the challenges of Hurricane Beryl.
I want to start by commending the Secretariat and the Secretary General and the Secretariat for the phenomenal work. I want to start by also acknowledging the work played by the Minister for Foreign Affairs, the CARICOM Ambassador, the Permanent Secretary and her team in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Commissioner of Police and his team, all of the volunteers, protocol officers, our hotels, taximen, all of the citizens of Grenada who played a pivotal role in ensuring that we had an incident-free and very successful meeting. Hosting such events gives us an opportunity to showcase the warmth, the hospitality, and the beauty of Grenada, and that despite the challenges we face, we can still accommodate our visitors and show them what the true Grenadian hospitality is about. And if there is one thing that was accomplished by the hosting of that event is that fact. I think all of the persons I interacted with, the delegates, were in high praises for the Grenadian spirit, the resilience, the hospitality, and the sense of genuine Caribbean camaraderie I make special mention, for example, of the Foreign Minister of Haiti, who would have had the opportunity to visit Grenada for the first time. And she remarked to me that she felt Grenada was a more condensed, compact version of the best parts of Haiti.
This is the GIS News. We'll be back after this break.
Prepare for hurricane. Prepare for hurricane. Make sure you have your radio and your batteries too. Waterproof flashlight candles will do. Tin stuff, garbage bag, first aid kit. Come on, people, make sure you have it. Clean water in a container and a hurricane plan. Hear me no man.
Hurricane damage is beyond your control. Surviving the aftermath is up to you. Have a hurricane plan. It can save your life and your family too.
Prepare for hurricane. Your hair, prepare for hurricane.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Education is working toward a September 2nd reopening for schools in Carriacou and Petite Martinique. A team from the ministry led by Education Minister Honorable David Andrew, CEO Dominic Jeremiah, Permanent Secretary Aaron Francois, and other key technical office officials visited the island and met with stakeholders to chart the way forward. Minister Andrew said while several schools were damaged by Hurricane Beryl, alternative measures can be implemented to resume school in September.
All of Carriacou and Petite Martinique overwhelmingly wanted to remain on Carriacou and Petite Martinique to resume school. From education officials all the way down to students, we engaged all of those stakeholders, many of them parents and all, and they were all interested in remaining on Carriacou to resume school. They were aware that that would mean some forms of adjustment, and that had implications, but they are prepared to make the adjustments. And so a number of recommendations, Cabinet has approved a number of recommendations for the speedy resumption of school in Carriacou, and I'll probably just list a few of them. So the target is to resume school in September. We're targeting the opening dates. It's probably a bit ambitious, but we prefer to aim for the stars, and in case we miss, we might hit a top cloud. So we are going in that direction, and the stakeholders there are aware that it might mean we could have a delay or two, a couple of weeks, but we are not aiming for that. We are aiming to resume school.
Schools with less damage that can be easily repaired are being prioritized to meet the reopening schedule.
There are some primary schools in Carriacou that are a lot easier to repair, and those we have already commissioned engineers to do the technical assessments and the quantities required for their repairs. So that's already in process. And just to skip off, that is also commissioned for the schools in the north of the island, MacDonald College, St. Grenada SDA Comprehensive, that have been damaged as well, so that we'll be able to engage contractors immediately to commence repairs. We anticipate that all of the schools on the mainland will be ready, and in Carriacou, we anticipate we are going to push as far as we can.
Minister Andrew says the TAM-CC students on the island will be housed at a few schools and will adopt a blended approach to learning. There is also the option of attending the institution on the mainland until Carriacou returns to some form of normalcy.
There is the option to use a space. We have about 30 plus students using the TAM-CC campus that was really destroyed, and they are going to be housed hopefully at one of these spaces in one of our secondary schools using a blended approach to learning there. So some elements will be done online while others will be done in person by the lecturers there. We will further engage them too, because we did not get a chance to engage as many of the students as possible, so, and their parents, to see what their feel is in relation to relocating to the mainland or staying in Carriacou, because that's still a little bit inconclusive, although we got strong sentiments from some sections that they wanted to remain in Carriacou even for that element.
Minister Andrews said the ministry will continue to provide assistance to university students, supplementary meal programs for schools, and uniform assistance to primary and secondary school students. The Environmental Health Division and Vector Control Unit of the Ministry of Health are aggressively working to eliminate mosquito breeding sites across the island in the wake of another outbreak of dengue fever. Details in this report from Blossom Alexis Welsh.
Grenada is once again experiencing a sharp rise in the number of cases of dengue fever. Chief Medical Officer in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Sean Charles, calls this a serious situation, especially as the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season, currently underway, is more favorable for breeding of the vector that transmits dengue, which is the mosquito.
With the additional rainfall that occurs during the rainy season, then there is the opportunity for more breeding sites to occur. And with the passage of weather events such as Hurricane Beryl, there is a lot more debris in our surroundings which can store water and allow for mosquitoes to breed. So, but incidentally, the two regions of Grenada that are most impacted by the dengue cases right now are St. Andrew in particular and St. George. All right, but this is where it starts. All right, if we take the right actions, we can prevent it from becoming an issue in all of the other parishes. All right, so we do encourage persons to do all in their power to search your surroundings, eliminate the breeding sites of the mosquito, and in so doing, you would limit the opportunities for mosquitoes to breed and prevent the spread of dengue fever.
People who are infected by dengue virus can present with acute or sudden onset high fever with joint and muscle pain. However, many people may go on to experience even more severe symptoms, which can lead to hospitalization, and some may succumb to the disease.
We've been observing cases rising for the past 2 weeks. So in the past week, all right, we've observed a report of 23 cases. And in the previous week, all right, we had around 15. All right, so certainly the prior week 15 and the following week 23. So the cases are on the increase. Okay. All right. Now, I should inform that these are the cases that were reported. All right, and the reports give us an idea as to the trend of the disease. All right, there could be other cases out there that were picked up but simply were not reported.
Chief Environmental Officer in the Ministry of Health, Kenneth Hazard, says the department is treating this outbreak as an emergency and all measures must be taken to reduce mosquito breeding sites.
That all measures necessary must be taken to reduce breeding places, especially with regard to homes, tire shops. We also are seeing a number of tires sitting along our roads that we are going to be asking those to be picked up. We are also going to be using our vehicles to pick up some of those tires that are just sitting as stray tires on our roads that are going to contribute to the breeding of mosquitoes. However, we can expect members of the vector control team to be coming more frequently into persons' homes to ensure that breeding places are not existing, and where we find breeding places, for those to be eliminated.
Members of the public are cautioned to cover all water storage containers, as environmental officers will be taking emergency action during nationwide inspection to eliminate mosquito breeding sites. Reporting for the Ministries of Health, Mental Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs, I am Blossom Alexis Welsh.
Thank you, Blossom. The Ministry of Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs has launched a program designed to offer targeted care and support to young people across Grenada. The HYPE mentoring program, or Harnessing Young Potential Excellence, was launched on the grounds of the Marion Community Center on Wednesday. It was developed in collaboration with the Juvenile Justice Division and supported by the OACS USAID Opportunities to Advance and Support Youth for Success OASIS project. With crime in the region a high priority area at the just concluded CARICOM Heads meeting in Grenada, Prime Minister and Minister for National Security, Honorable Deacon Mitchell, hopes the HYPE program will help reduce the incarceration rate in the country.
Grenada has one of, and I'm the minister responsible for national security, the highest incarceration rates per capita in the world. It means, on average, for every individual Grenadian, we jail more Grenadians or send them to jail. So it means our tools for dealing with crime and criminality, particularly amongst young people, needs a serious revision. Because the problem with that is that the risk that you are going to create a proper criminal, one that is beyond redemption, is very, very high. And that is what has happened in the case of Grenada. That is why we have this high incarceration rate, because we are essentially putting back people repeatedly in prison. And so the very small investment that the government is making here, I think it's about $600,000 if we add the bus and the $500,000. I told Minister I was going to say the figures because sometimes people say the government doesn't care about young people and they're only talking. Money is actually being spent in order for this to happen.
Prime Minister Mitchell and his cabinet colleagues will be leading by example by receiving training to be mentors of the program.
We need more male mentors. And so I want to advocate by putting myself and the males in the cabinet and the government of Grenada first to lead by example by having us sign up to be trained as part of the mentorship program so that when we go out to ask for volunteers, we are not being hypocrites and that we can do so. And I really want to make this plea for men. A lot of older men in particular talk, they criticize the young men, etc. But talking and criticizing isn't mentoring, right? It isn't helping, and we need a lot of help.
Minister for Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs, Honorable Gloria Thomas, says the program was conceptualized to intervene through 3 principles.
In January 2021, the government of Grenada approved the HYPE mentoring program and has recently approved the human resources budget to staff this well-needed and impressive program. The program is tailored to work with juveniles who may come into conflict with the law or who are at risk of becoming so. The HYPE program was conceptualized to be a powerful intervention emphasizing prevention, diversion, and reintegration. These principles will help our youth recognize the value, potential, and how they can contribute to nation building. Unfortunately, our youth are often exposed to a range of negative influences.
Director of Social Development, Chrissy Worm-Charles, explained that the reformation of the juvenile justice system was important to support the programs of the ministry.
The government of Grenada therefore embarked on reforming its juvenile justice system with the intention of preventing and diverting potential offenders into positive living and to rehabilitate offenders, a very key and important part of our functionalities in the ministry. The reformation process was complemented by the institutionalization of a juvenile justice division in full effect, Mr. Lee. The aim is delivering comprehensive juvenile justice services through a systematic approach.
The program will be extended to the sister isles of Carriacou and Petite Martinique. We take another break. We'll be right back.
Climate change is real, bringing hotter days and less rain. Less rain means less water, so it is crucial for all of us to conserve water at home. When washing my fruits and vegetables, I use a bowl of water, and later I reuse it to water my plants. This is how I save water at home. What are you waiting for?
Thank you for staying with us. The Ministry of Health's swift action and public health response in the aftermath of Hurricane Beryl continues to garner regional and international attention and support. One strategic partner, the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARPHA, has made a sizable donation of relief amounting to over US $15,000. Kevin Frederick, the Senior Health Promotions, Communications, Public Information Officer at the Ministry of Health, Mental Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs, has the details.
More than $15,000 worth of relief to help bolster Grenada's public health response was handed over to Health Minister the Honorable Philip Telesford by CARPHA's Interim Executive Director Dr. Lisa Inda on Wednesday morning. In making the presentation, Dr. Inda said,
CARPHA, as a regional public health agency mandated to provide public health response to emergencies, is really happy to be working with the government of Grenada to provide these essential public health supplies. As we know, after a hurricane, there is at risk of infectious diseases. So we today are providing a first tranche to Grenada for the islands of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. That consists of things like PPEs, insect repellents, or ORS, and other supplies, sanitizers, and so on, that will better protect the public health, the public and public health overall.
The Health Ministry is also expected to receive more support from the Trinidad and Tobago-based Public Health Organization.
Our next tranche, we will work towards providing materials for fogging and all of that, so that we combat, foodborne and vector-borne diseases. We are really happy to be working with Grenada. We stand in solidarity with Grenada, and we are here to support all the time.
Health Minister, the Honorable Philip Telesford, who was on hand to witness the arrival of the first shipment of relief, thanked CARPHA for doing so.
I do wish to join my voice in expressing profound gratitude to the leadership of CARPHA for the generous donation. This is in the region of 40,000 East Caribbean dollars, or 15,000 BC. A lot of medical supplies, including mosquito repellent, which we know is very useful at this time, because as we grapple with the challenge of the proliferation of mosquitoes in Carriacou and Petit Martinique, notwithstanding that we're doing a routine fogging, the fight against these mosquitoes is an ongoing challenge that we continue to face. And so the mosquito repellent that we're receiving along with this shipment is indeed very timely and will help to sort of relieve residents there who are basically coping with this challenge at this time. So we want to express our profound gratitude to CARPHA for the continued support and ongoing conversations.
Since the passage of Hurricane Beryl on July 1 of this year, the Ministry of Health has been coordinating and spearheading its public health response initiatives on the sister islands under the direction of the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Sean Charles, who was also present at the handover. The CMO said the relief items, which will certainly strengthen Grenada's public health initiatives, also fortifies the public health infrastructure against future challenges. Kevin Frederick reporting.
Thank you, Kevin. Continuing, Dominica's Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit says CARICOM must send a strong, coherent message to the international community for more access to finances to effectively mitigate the effects of climate change. The environmental challenge and its impact on the Caribbean was foremost on the minds of CARICOM heads during the discussions at the just concluded 47th regular meeting of heads of government. Prime Minister Skerrit told GIS that the region needs more access to international financing following disasters to advance rebuilding and relief efforts. He explained that due to the extent and frequency at which the region is exposed to disasters, it is now an urgent appeal for help to be given.
The many pledges have been made to us by the developed world, and they are not forthcoming. And so it's absolutely important that a very strong, coherent message goes out of Grenada to the international community, letting know of the urgency and the emergency of accessing those funds to rebuild countries like Grenada and St. Vincent and Jamaica, all of whom have been, and Barbados have been affected dramatically by these hurricanes. And the whole international financial architecture needs to be reviewed. Grenada needs money to build homes now. They can't wait 5 years and 6 years down the road. People are homeless, thrown out of school, no access to some of the basic healthcare facilities. So it's an emergency that we're confronting, and I'm happy that we have this meeting at this time. It is necessary to let the world know that and to bring focused attention to what's happening in our Caribbean space.
Finally, in the news, the Ministry of Youth and Sports wraps up its summer camp Flame catering to ages 8 to 16. Centers were operated in all parishes on the mainland Grenada, engaging the participants in skills development and sports. Details from Karine Maureen Alexander.
Camp Flame, a 2-week summer camp organized by the Ministry of Youth and Sports, were held in centers across Grenada. The camp was held under the theme, Where Fun Sparks Knowledge. Community Outreach Associate at the St. Andrews Center explains what the participants were involved in learning.
We have a lot of children who come out on a daily basis, interact, learn new things. Some of our components include body butter, hair oils, soap making, crochet, drama and dance, basket weaving, and then we have the sports components, football, cricket, netball, and then we have some of the children who are doing karate as well. The children are quite interested in the different programs, and I think it's something that they look forward to every year.
Participants at the St. David and St. Andrew Centers spoke about their experience at Camp Flame.
What have you been involved with so far?
Bath and Body Works, drama, and boxing.
What's your favorite part?
Boxing because you can develop how to defend yourself from strangers. My favorite part of the camp is Bath and Body Works because you can learn how to take care of you can learn how to take better care of your skin.
You also are making products as well?
Yes, we are.
Okay, how is that?
It is going really, really well. And I love experimenting and making lots of products. And
I take part in the crocheting, karate, and dance classes. My favorite part of this program is probably the crochet class because I'm learning new things that I never knew before, and the teacher is also very nice.
Okay, so what are some of the stuff that you're making in the crochet class?
We're making crunchies at the moment. Some children are making bras for hand, and then I'm going to make a hat.
I love the drama because I can express my emotions, I can use body language to tell a story, and just reach out to people.
A closing ceremony will be held to showcase all that was produced and learned at the various Camp Flame centers. I am Karine Maureen Alexander reporting.
Thank you, Karine. That wraps up our GIS news for Thursday, August 1st, 2024. I am Kristen Mitchell. Thank you for joining us and have a great evening.
Well, thank you very much, Kristen, and the rest of the GIS News team. And of course, we head over straight to the weather as submitted by the Met Office. We can tell you that the weather is expected to be mostly fair with a low chance of light showers. Tonight's minimum temperature 25.5 degrees Celsius. Winds northeasterly to easterly at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Seas slight to moderate with waves 3 to 5 feet in open waters. Heading over to Friday, we can tell you that the weather for Friday is expected to be mostly fair with light morning showers, increasing in cloudiness by evening with light to moderate nighttime showers. Max temperature 32 degrees Celsius, minimum 25.5 degrees Celsius. Winds northeasterly to easterly at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Seas slight to moderate with waves 3 to 5 feet in open waters. That's our weather report for tonight and tomorrow. Hot days are ahead. I believe that Saturday is going to be a bit hot as it was today. Please be guided accordingly. YouTube viewers, Jennifer, we're saying hello to you. Hillary, we're saying hello to you as well. Suzanne, Celine, Arthur, and Laverne, Karen, and the rest of the people who are usually on YouTube. We are saying hello to you, like Glenora as well. We know that you're there. And those of you who are on Facebook, well, we are saying hello to you as well. So big up to Java, Barbara, Diana, Bermuda, Michelle, Jean, Carlisle, Bernadette, who else? Scott, and everybody, you know, Liz and so on. Big up all the whole self now. Pick up all yourself, bye. Jacinta. Hey. Yvonne. Hey. So everybody take care of yourselves. We touch base again. God bless you. And we have to be our brother's keeper. All right? Don't forget that. God bless you. Let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We all say, Ja! No! All the best. Take care.